This is MAGA Mike Johnson at a fancy White House dinner for the Saudis last night, only moments before disaster was about to hit him. You know that satisfied smile that he always carries around, whether it's the government shutdown and he's visibly a bit nervous, or it's a normal day of blocking the release of the Epstein files. MAGA Mike Johnson has this smug, satisfied smirk all of the time. Well, I want to show you a video where that smirk is wiped off of his face after multiple of his power blocks break in Congress. I mean, he had that satisfaction because he knew he had control over representatives and Republicans in Congress, in the House. Well, what happens when he loses control of that entire power block and they defect from his months and months of work to block the release of the Epstein files? That's what happened when 427 representatives voted to release the Epstein files, and one fucking weirdo from Louisiana voted against it. I don't know. But MAGA Mike Johnson took a huge blow when this happened, and you could even see Representative Ro Khanna explaining how shook and how nervous Mike Johnson was. Listen to this.
Are you confident that everything will be redacted that needs to be redacted?
I am. And the speaker looked frazzled last night. I mean, I think he is just totally lost it. Look, he's attacking the bill and he's not showing up to hear the survivors. The survivors wanted this bill. The survivors' lawyers helped us craft this bill. Then he's voting for a bill that he's criticized. He tells Thune, go amend it, and Thune basically ignores him. And he's lost the confidence of half the people in his own caucus.
He is absolutely losing his mind. Remember, the entire catalyst for this was a discharge petition, cleverly crafted by Ro Khanna, Thomas Massie, and a few other people. This discharge petition forced the vote on the floor, even without Speaker of the House Mike Johnson, who usually has a say. After the discharge petition was announced, Speaker of the House Mike Johnson spent months lobbying against it. After he threatened different representatives and said Lauren Boebert shouldn't vote for it, he switched at the very last minute and said he was for it all along. Then he later asked Senator Thune, the Senate Majority Leader, to make some amendments to it, and the Majority Leader, as Ro Khanna says, just ignored it. I want to show you the video of a shaken Mike Johnson, but let's run through the series of events. Last night, they're having a dinner at the White House for the Saudi Crown Prince. Donald Trump has been blatantly selling out our country in a quid pro quo manner. The best way to describe it is Trump wants to return our country to a pre-constitutional order where he's essentially like a monarch who gets to be transactional and get gifts and give gifts and get planes and jets from Qatar, or get gifts from the Saudi crown, or have his son, Don Jr., and his other sons, Eric Trump, cutting deals regarding crypto or regarding Trump golf courses. It's really sick quid pro quo stuff. Elon Musk, of course, is there. Elon Musk never misses a good opportunity to throw around his wealth or to be one of the wealthiest people in the room. I'm sure he cut some business deals as well. I mean, it is pure oligarchical corruption when they're literally the richest people in the world all sitting in a room using the democracy of the United States. Like, we voted, not we, but people voted in power the Trump administration because they trusted them to represent their interests. The Trump administration is only representing their own interests. They are only saving themselves. Elon Musk is taking his own side. That is what is happening here. They're not taking the side of the American people. And that's the definition of corruption, by the way, is using public office for personal or private gain. Here's Donald Trump talking about the military cooperation coming to greater heights. I mean, pure corruption.
And we want to keep it that way. So that's why tonight I'm pleased to announce that we're taking our military cooperation to even greater heights by formally designating Saudi Arabia as a major non-NATO ally, which is something that is very important to them. And I'm just telling you now for the first time because I wanted to keep a little secret for tonight. I just heard him say, oh, that's nice.
I mean, this guy sounds like he's high. I don't even know. We should be strengthening relationships with countries like Ukraine. We should be respecting them. Instead, Trump rolls out the red carpet for Vladimir Putin. Listen, if you want to talk to the Saudis, that's different. It's a little bit different than talking to Putin because Putin is just a unique monster. So is Netanyahu. But if you want to talk to them, you can use the leverage of the United States to get policy concessions without just being an absolute suck-up. It's so clear that they compliment Donald Trump a few times, and then his narcissistic brain makes him like the Saudis, which is fine. We can be allies with them. That's not the complaint here. but at least have some sort of spine or backbone. This brings me on to what the Epstein survivors are saying about Trump. The exact same thing. This dude has no spine. He has no backbone. And I want you to remember that as this dinner was going on with MAGA Mike Johnson, chumming it up, with Don Jr., chumming it up, with Elon Musk sitting there, right after this dinner happened, Speaker of the House Mike Johnson learned that the Senate approved the Epstein Files bill without making the changes that he asked. Genuinely a huge blow to the power of MAGA Mike Johnson. Speaker of the House Mike Johnson has multiple power blocks that he can rely on. Not only the voters in his home district, but also in Congress, he's supposed to be able to essentially whip up the Republican caucus, the MAGA caucus, and get everyone aligned. Ideally, that's his job as a Speaker of the House. He also should ideally have some say in the Senate. Not that he can change policies, but him and Senate Majority Leader Thune oftentimes are highly coordinated in the way that they pass things, in the way that they make changes. It's like playing football where you kind of have to pass the ball off to your teammates. You got to be coordinated. But what we saw last night was a complete lack of coordination to the point where Thune basically stuck up the middle finger to MAGA Mike Johnson. Look how shaken he is in this video. Like he sounds pretty shaken and stuttery.
Any reaction to Leader Thune seeing the bill without adding amendments or changing it?
I'm deeply disappointed in this outcome. I think I've been at the state dinner. I don't know. I was just told that Chuck Schumer rushed it to the floor and put it out there preemptively. It needed amendments. I just spoke to the president about that. We'll see what happens.
So do you think he may veto it? You say you spoke to the president?
I'm not saying that.
Is he supportive of it in its current form?
We both have concerns about it, so we'll see. I was standing there with the Crown Prince. We couldn't talk.
Are you frustrated in the majority leader? Are you upset with the majority?
Okay, so while he was at the state dinner where Donald Trump was selling out our country with some really weird transactional quid pro quo, Speaker of the House Mike Johnson learned that the Senate basically turned against him. Also, what's the vibe here? Look at all these dudes walking up the stairs. They all keep peeking back in a really odd way. Like, there's a moment where like everyone on the staircase looks back and tries to, what are they? Okay, either way, Speaker of the House Mike Johnson is genuinely losing his mind, and that's what Ro Khanna was pointing out at the beginning of the video. Now, here is James Comer saying live on Fox that if there's no Epstein list, they are going to craft their own list.
If there's no Epstein list, and we want to find out if there were people that were violating the law and who they were, we'll have to construct our own. If there's not an Epstein list floating around in the Department of Justice.
I'm hearing that they are going to craft their own list out of selective names that Donald Trump has already tweeted out. He always posts names on his True Social, and then those names get targeted, and Republicans go, oh, we didn't know that was going to happen, without realizing the direct lines. And then on the other side, when Biden would look at Merrick Garland the wrong way as Attorney General, they would say that Biden and Merrick Garland were coordinating to take down every Republican in the country. Yet Trump can just openly post the name of Republicans, and they don't see the hypocrisy.
Maybe following the money, we can construct.
Well, it's interesting. The mainstream media was going wall to wall with Epstein while you all were reopening government. I was watching, the vote. You're all over there voting to reopen government, and it's wall to wall Epstein on CNN because some files were released.
It's wall-to-wall Epstein on CNN because the survivors have been asking for transparency. Everything that James Comer said a few months ago, the survivors said in their own terms. So, the survivors said in a press conference they can put together their own list at some points, but it's very risky legally for them. So, a representative can read it on the House floor. That's been floated. But what James Comer is saying here is a bit more nefarious. He's not putting together a list to help the survivors or to help further transparency. He's putting together a selective list and then just talking about it on Fox News. So this all just loops back around to show you the panic in the Republican caucus. Many of them saw the writing on the wall and knew how bad it would look if they voted against the Epstein file release. So they went 427-1, voted for it. Even Donald Trump himself ended up changing his mind after months and months of freaking out on live television. There's that one clip where he's like, are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? And he's super pissed off at the reporters. He keeps saying, shut up, piggy. He keeps saying crazy things to reporters. And then at the last minute, he changes his vote. And MAGA's like, see, he was for transparency the entire time. It is absolute BS. And we need to remember how this all went down. The Republicans were not on board until the very last minutes. Now they're hosting these weird, corrupt dinners while affordability is still an issue that's raging on. I'm going to make some issues about affordability today because I've been trying to balance lately the talk of Jeffrey Epstein. I find this to be very important, and I find the survivor stories to be important, and I find the overall talk about transparency to be important. But I think affordability is something Democrats need to hammer home as well. So over the next few months, we need to message on these things. We can message on a few things at once, of course. So if you want to help that message, if you want to help us push it, make sure you drop a like, subscribe below. I love you all, and peace out.